Lovely people, it is time for a new challenge run. The uniques only challenge. The rules are simple. I can only use uniques I find during the run. I will allow myself some rarity starter gear, which I'm crafting right here, but that is it. I start in my regular SSF league, so I have access to currency and gold, meaning I can experiment and respec, but only with the uniques that I find. As the main character, I chose a Reliquarian of Royal Blood, Astro Babes. I think Reliquarian fits this challenge very well. If you enjoy runs like these, consider subscribing. I appreciate it. The challenge run only starts when I find my first unique. Until then, I won't be picking up anything. My loot filter hides everything except uniques. Hit luck dies using the science starter skill. I get my rarity from the stash. I decided to level with fireball for now and some elemental proliferation, and it looks a bit like this. My best hopes for finding early uniques is Mirage, I think. This one, for example, with 80% increased rarity. That should help. I reach level 8, which means I can equip more rarity gear. I take spell damage on early pathing. I have 54% item rarity at the moment. I keep running Mirages, reach level 12. Equip another 2 rings, bringing me to 70% item rarity. Brutus dies, I craft a bit of movement speed on the rarity boots, equip a few heralds for some damage. The idea is explicitly not for me to suffer like in the last challenge. Yes, I know you guys are enjoying that, but these videos take a lot of time to make actually. So, if I enjoyed it at least for a little bit, that'd be nice. No, the idea is that I find a unique item and just try to make a build with whatever unique I find. I hope that is interesting enough as a concept. Let's see. That doesn't mean that I'm doing exactly great here. I am still walking around with my starter weapon, which is a melee club, trying to cast firewalls. It isn't a good combination by any stretch of the imagination, and I won't be able to swap gear until I find a unique, which so far in Act 1 hasn't happened yet. The challenge is off to a bit of a slow start in that regard, but I'm sure it'll pick up some pace once the uniques start dropping. You can tell by the Merville fight, damage isn't great, but she dies.
Why must men turn us into...
I upgrade my rarity gear slightly, it is now at 74%, and in Act 2 I get my first unique Mirage reward. I enter the Mirage, kill the chain monsters, and I get a life sprig. It's a classic. I color it, link it, 3 blues, and decide to equip another wand as well, just to fill the offhand slot. I am sticking to Fireball right now, but that won't be too long, as I felt Fireball might be a little bit boring, so after a bit more of Act 2 I went back to the hideout and I slot in Arc instead. That is also a classic, but it is not really used in one of my videos yet, I don't think. I link it to added lightning and controlled destruction for now. Here is a little test. It is a level 1 arc of course, but it works just fine. In the passive tree I get some lightning damage as well, plus elemental resistances and attributes, as those will be hard to come by early on. I encounter another 80% rarity Mirage, but don't find anything. Oak dies very slowly, and there is the second unique of the run, Honor Home. This one complements Arc very well in fact. I quality it, 3 link it, and +2 to all gems. That is quite nice, so the Arc setup goes in there. I buy a conductivity curse and put Herald of Thunder and Clarity in the life sprig for +1. Here is the passive tree so far. I decide to help Alira for the resistances and I do the ritual. Last challenge run it dropped a unique and this time it does as well, Loctonial Caress, and the Dread Thicket offers another unique in the Mirage, which brings me to the next chapter. I get a Gore Drill from that Mirage. I first quality the gloves, equip 2 rarity gold flasks and then take a look at the Gore Drill. I quality it, link it and look at it for a little bit. It is a bleed weapon basically. That means time for a respec, and I haven't noticed the refund all button indeed. My thinking here is to get generic bleed nodes, but also an extra strike in the mastery, so I hit at least a few enemies, and then I just hope this kinda works out. I look for bleed skills, there's really not much choice in Act 2, so Dual Strike it is, linked to melee physical damage and efficacy. Not the most obvious choices, I'm sure, but I don't play many bleed builds, and this isn't exactly a case where I'm following a POB or a guide for obvious reasons, so bear with me. I take a Pride Aura plus Herald of Purity, decide to slot the whole setup in the helmet as that's extra levels, and then it is time for a test run. And well, it works, I suppose. The gloves are giving me random charges, although it would do that for any skill. I do in fact inflict bleeds on the target, although clear speed is quite bad, but hey, who would have thought this wasn't up to par? Likely most of you, yes. But I have equipped Gordrill for your entertainment and my education. It is not particularly good, but I'm sticking with it at least for a bit. That is, until I find these unique velvet gloves. I will hold on to this for a little bit. I first bleed the Val Oversoul to death with Gordrill. I think an amazing achievement, of course, but it is time for something else. These gloves are Doedri's Tenure. Reduced cast speed, 100% increased spell damage. These are amazing gloves for wand skills, which tend to scale with spell damage, but don't suffer from the reduced cast speed because they are attacks, not spells. So I pick a wand skill that I'm not familiar with, Kinetic Fusillade, link it to added cold and added lightning, put it in the helmet, and I finally discover the refund all button after refunding 90% of the tree, and I will be making my way north to wand nodes. I take this generic one and the big one for +1 projectiles and leech masteries. Realize there is Spell Slinger as well, so I enable that with arc linked to Spell Cascade. Time for another test run, and geez, this is really smooth. The Kinetic Fusillade mostly auto-targets, the arc is directed at where I point my cursor, it seems, and the Herald of Ash is still up too, burning enemies. Lifesprig has very little damage, sure, and I do have another wand equipped, but that's not a great one either. This feels like an actual build though. Even single target, while a little iffy because you have to wait for the Kinetic Fusillade to leave, works quite well. Piety here isn't much of a challenge, and the arc spell also just really helps out. This continues for a while, until again the Mirage offers a new unique armor, which turns out to be another honor home. This one though, higher item level, meaning I can 4-link it, which I will because I can. I make it 4 blues plus some quality, and I will link Kinetic Fusillade to item rarity support, 23% quality, as I want more uniques, plus added lightning, and then for the 4th support gem I'm just checking Lily. Sacred Wisps and Kinetic Instability sound like fun, I go for the former. Let's see it. Well, it works. The cute little wisps on the side also cast Kinetic Fusillade, and these things chain, so coverage is great. I am quite happy with this after a very slow start to the run. I also drop another unique helmet. The item rarity is working it seems, but this is a bad one. I realize at this point I have 67% accuracy. Kinetic Fusillade is an attack, so this is a bit of an issue. I take the mastery to at least mitigate this issue somewhat. Here is Piety again demonstrating the iffiness of this skill. The waiting for the bolts to get released feels weird in boss fights. A little later, on Dominus, you see the same phenomenon. It is not the best single target damage, that much is clear, but on the other hand, how smooth the rest of the zones feel makes up for a lot of that. A little later, in the belly of the beast, I find a Val Power Siphon and more Piety, but you get it by now I think. What starts to become a bit of an issue is my life bar, or the lack of it. It reaches 0 fairly often, and until I find more uniques, there is not that much I can do about that. It is what it is for now, and this run will have a massive number of deaths if I keep this up. I drop a new unique in the Mirage, some leech, not bad, but I won't equip it. Innocence dies kinda, resistances are at 42%, and at Kitava it is the same story. A bit wonky single target, but apart from that it's all good. I equip a Purity of Elements, so at least I have some resistances. The campaign continues, as are my suicidal tendencies. I blow myself up and drop a unique shield at the same time. I don't have a shield yet, so that's good. I don't have enough dexterity for the shield, so I do a quick respec and I equip it. I am running Purity of Elements like I said, Spell Slinger and Clarity for auras, and the gameplay for that is still quite smooth. I've automated my Quicksilver Flask as well for a bit of quality of life. In the Mirage, I wish for a unique jewelry, Ikihao's Promise. Not my idea of promising, but it is unique, I have to equip it. Come to think of it, this may be the worst unique amulet in the game, right? Aberrath goes down, but you can tell I take tons of damage in these fights. The Puppet Master, same idea, so I realize I can take some easy resistances on the tree just south of the starting position of the Scion. The next unique drops, Maligaro's Restraint. It is all very much a theme, extra lightning damage. The downsides don't matter because I am ailment immune, and I'm sure there is a reason for it, but this unique also has an MTX, the purple ball. It is not a shield or anything, I don't think it has a function, it is just there, probably from very early on in terms of design, and here's the proof, it really comes from this belt. After I hold on to my cockles, the reef drops a new unique, and this item is something quite interesting. I've always wanted to use this, but I never have. The Tremor Rod with a built-in blast chain mine support, I will get to that. First 6 sockets and a 5-link, so a pseudo 6-link with that support. Here is what that blast chain mine support does. It supports spells or attacks that use bows or wands, and then turn that into a mine basically. However, because it is on a staff and the game expects you to have a bow equipped if you want to use, let's say, Toxic Rain, a whole bunch of spells and attacks will not work, like my wand skill, at least I think that is what is happening. I lack a bit of strength to even equip this thing, so I'm fixing that first by getting rid of the wand cluster. I take strength and then I can equip the weapon. But when I slot in Power Siphon, like I explained, it won't work. Skill can't be used. And I'm pretty sure that is because the skill expects me to wear a wand and this is a staff. So that leaves me with generic spells to put in the staff, like Arc, and that does work. I support it with Charged Mines for Frenzy and Power Charges, which is very strong, Trap and Mine support, Minefield for 4 extra mines, and for now, Item Rarity. I want more uniques, but I'm not even sure this works on a mine. I spec out of the remaining wand nodes and all into mine nodes. I think this is a pretty generic tree, although you wouldn't normally play this on a Scion I suppose, but okay. I take any accessible mine nodes, I automate detonate mines with automation for quality of life, that is a must-have I feel. Mines won't explode or detonate in the hideout for some reason, but let's get back to the reef. And here it is. Not only does it work, albeit a little clunky, from the weapon the mines also detonate twice, so that is a lot of arc lightning going around, and it means clear feels quite good. But also single target, as can be seen on the crab, isn't all that terrible. Plus, none of the support gems are leveled, so this seems like quite a potent and fun build. I scale more power charges and take additional resistances. The only real downside is that it takes a little bit to throw out the 5 mines. I don't have much mine throwing speed, in other words. Tankiness remains an issue too. Truthcool drops a shield, which I won't be using. The woods drop a belt, this isn't bad. I do shock and ignite, but I like the flat damage and the MTX from my current belt better. The area up to Arcali has a new secret room and it drops a Twizzle, or Twizzle. It's the game telling me to play a Wander. And here is the Spider Girl, no match for the quintuple double detonate Arc Scion Miner though. New act, new uniques. It is a classic in my runs at this point, Saresh's Belt, while you see how smooth this Arc Miner is on Yugal. It is actually really good. Same with the Celestial Sisters, it is just smooth sailing. I stick to more boss footage, Shakira this time, and she drops an amulet, which is nice. I can now finally replace that piece of trash that I have in there. It's also an upgrade for resistances. I reach level 67 and wish for a unique armor. It is Hemophilia. That's not a bad item, but I'm not going back to bleed anytime soon. The Depraved Trinity drops Steelhead. I lack some minion items to pull this one off though, I feel. Speaking of which, here is a Siegebreaker, that is some synergy at least. I decide to allow myself the use of rare jewels to fix some resistances. I keep dying, and as this is technically not gear, I think it is allowed. I'm crafting a few decent ones just to get capped, also after the second Kitava fight. I decide to farm the desecrated chambers for a while, not because I need experience, but because there are several item slots that I don't have any uniques in, only magic find. And I feel I should fill up those slots for the most part before continuing my journey. I get more sockets, which means another jewel, I'm capped now, but I need a bit more to counter the incoming -30 for Kitava. I do the same thing again, another jewel goes in, I'm getting pretty close now. And again, another jewel socket, another small slam, another jewel ready to go, and this caps my resistances. So that is that issue solved, at least for now. Chaos resistance isn't solved though, so I do equip that siege breaker. I do the lab, the first one, kill Exile, get a unique flask which I will equip, and then a transfigured gem. I'm taking Soul Rend of the Spiral. Here is the Reliquarian. The first ascendancy is almost useless as I'm only getting 2 passives. I go again, I get Kinetic Rain of Impact. I'm thinking again about that possible wonder and get to choose a unique effect. I didn't think too much about this upfront as I had no clue which uniques I would find, so now that I'm here, I'm not sure what to do exactly. At first, the Brass Dome seems very strong and generically good, so I take that. In the third lab, a possessed porcupine one-shots me, a small hiccup, but I will make it out eventually. Isaro dies a third time, and he drops a shield. In fact, I had a few drops as you can see. I take a random gem, which I won't be using, and I'm faced with another choice. I'm very much leaning towards the Grace of the Goddess, as I already played a Wander, which felt very good. Terminus Est isn't bad either, the rest doesn't seem so good to me. Ultimately, I take the Grace, which also means it is back to wanding. First, let's get a new flask in. It is good, it should sustain the other flasks by a lot. I will hold on to the shield, the rest of the uniques I don't need. I already changed my mind on the Brass Dome. I want movement speed and chaos res instead. I'm removing all of the mine nodes once more, although I could in theory play a miner, but I don't see how that would work with Sacred Wisps. So it'll be a wander, not a miner, meaning a bunch of wand nodes, basically reverting back to what I played before. I just have a few more points to spend now that I have ascended and leveled a few times. I dropped that wand, of course, earlier, Twizzle. I'll take the shield that I just looted, Zeal's Amplifier. It is not bad, it's got some spell damage. I craft some sockets on Twizzle and quality, which matters with wanders. I get a Spellslinger arc setup and will use Kinetic Fusillade once more with Sacred Wisps. I just take a 20/20 of that lying around in the stash. I take added lightning damage. I also slot in and start leveling Kinetic Rain of Impact just as a backup, and I'm trying to figure out a 4th support gem. Elemental damage with attacks seems like a good choice. I also realize I have the Ravenous skill, so I suppose I should use that. I almost never will. This is forgotten whenever I enter a map or a mirage, but okay. And I'm thinking to myself, why not just test out that transfigured version of the Kinetic Rain that I just found? It could be fun. That means it's time for a little test run. This is a very promising start. Whenever I remember I shouldn't run face first into a bunch of enemies, or into anything really, if you think about it. Other than that, I just used the skill and this is pretty cool. I've never used this thing, I just know it was introduced and nerfed before it was even released and I never got around to it. But this is pretty amazing stuff. I don't know if it is good, but it looks great. I'm also having a hard time figuring out in-game if the 4 extra Sacred Wisps are contributing a whole lot. But yeah, again, I think this is great fun, I mean. It's not necessarily great as in, wow, what an amazing build. Great. As is to be expected, single target damage not particularly good. Also, you do have to aim a little bit, which is another downside, especially on bosses. The Kinetic Fusillade, for the most part, is an auto target skill. This Kinetic Rain, however, it mostly seems to target my cursor. I went back to Kinetic Fusillade for a bit and dropped another wand. It is not amazing, this one. Kinetic Fusillade is much less cool, but possibly a lot better in terms of both clear and single target. I don't realize it yet, but I'm about as accurate as oil price predictions these days. I think not being hit capped means I just don't always summon the little blue thing. The hit, if you will, is the summoning of the orb. At the end of the test run, I realize it's 77%. I don't really know how to fix that right now, so I decided to just continue and finish the campaign by killing and getting killed by the one and only Endless Hunger. It is a little rough and clunky, I will say. I think the mines would have been a lot smoother, but I have decent faith in the Wander as a concept. I just need to do some more experiments. A small search on the passive tree reveals 3 accuracy nodes near my starting position for 36% increased. And I also get myself a precision aura, which is very useful of course. And I have swapped to Power Siphon instead of Kinetic Fusillade. And here's the first boss. This is good stuff. You can also tell that all the Sacred Wisps, all 4 of them, are firing. I take the last accuracy node, anoint myself some more accuracy, and I'm at 99%. I'll take it. It is time for maps, which leads me to this Mirage in a tier 2 map, and it is in this exact moment I die and another unique drops, Malakai's Loop. In the same Mirage, I drop another unique shield, which I won't be using. I do try out the loop shield and it works. You can tell the looping loud and clear. I just don't really see the purpose. I have no synergy with losing charges, and again a shield drops in Grotto. I'm back to Zeal's amplifier for a shield and decide to try Somatic Shell. This shields enemies, I can then break the shield and it should explode. I don't know why I'm doing this, but I shield an entire pack, they don't die because of the shield, and then they kill me. A classic. I revert back to Kinetic Rain, at least I understand how that skill works, which is also a superior skill by far I feel, and I drop my next unique. And in the same map, another Twizzle from the map boss. I'll just dual wield those for now, why not? I also want to wear that Dendro Baits, but I need dexterity, so I craft a jewel with some Chaos Orbs. It takes a little bit, but I 6-socket it, 5-link it, and get 5 blues as a link. For now, I take Power Siphon, Sacred Wisps, Added Lightning, Crit Chance and Crit Damage, leaning into the full crit build here as much as possible. I link Sniper's Mark to Mark on Hit for automated marks and use a Precision Aura. I am capped at 100% hit chance at this point. I keep experimenting though, swapping between Power Siphon and Kinetic Rain of Impact. The former is nice because it auto-targets, the latter seems to cover way more area. Both are terribly squishy, as is proven again by instant death after anyone touches me. Single target damage is bad still, this is a tier 2 map and rares refuse to die. I do drop a shield however, get myself out of a sticky and deadly situation, drop a Carnage Heart Amulet, a pretty big upgrade with all of the attributes and resistances. Not only that though, the shield is flat fire damage, obviously provides some block chance and armor, so it may help as well. Mapping does improve a bit and gems keep leveling, as do I, despite all the dying. One of the other things I'm experimenting with is Spellslinger. Here I'm putting in Cold Snap as that provides frenzy charges if you kill enemies in the chilled areas, which you typically do. But as this is completely automated, including Power Siphon, this works quite well for 3 free frenzy charges. In general, mapping is getting smoother. Here is even a double unique drop. I'm getting uniques regularly, and to be honest, that is about time. Here I drop the Syntrack boots, it's not bad. It's certainly better than my Magic Find boots from the start of the campaign. I can throw away the old ones and add a life tap support to my Mark on Hit setup, so it always procs. Here are a bunch of unique jewels, but I don't consider equipping those mandatory. You can see a bit of the gameplay though, stutter step, hit and run tactics, cause if I stand still, I die. I reach level 81, drop another copy of the shield that I've got currently equipped. And in case you're wondering, since I'm on my regular SSF account, I don't need Atlas completion. So I just keep doing Grotto, but I'm slowly increasing the tier. This is a tier 4 map. That is also why I have a bunch of shrine buffs. But hey, this is already difficult enough I think, a build with only uniques that I have to self-found. Here's a bit of the single target damage on the map boss. It's not horrible, but it's not great either. One of the next relevant drops is a Broken Crown. I identify it, and this is a decent item. As long as you don't slot in active skills, it is very usable. I just put in 2 auras, and those aren't affected by the cast on death modifier on the item. 44 chaos res is huge, by the way. Whenever I can, I pick rarity in the mirages, which should increase unique drop chances, and not only that, also better currency, like this divine. I reach level 83 and drop a Prism Weave at the same time. In the same map I get this ring, which should be useful. Compared to my current belt, Prism Weave certainly adds damage, although I would lose Chaos Res. Nagamu's Sign is definitely an upgrade compared to my Magic Find ring, so that is a no-brainer. And while killing a twinned boss, again in a tier 3, I drop a Doedre's Tenure. I corrupt it for +2 auras, put some auras in there, and decide that I should have enough fire damage to slot in Trinity support and make that work. And indeed, that is the case, as you can tell by this footage. That is a nice damage increase. It is raining uniques at this point in the maps, still in low tier maps. I'm not showing each drop of course, but I'm getting between 2 to 5 uniques per map, so it's only a matter of time before I fill all of the slots at least with a unique item. I keep farming these maps to make that happen as well, as I feel there is no point in moving up in tiers. At this point I have a decent collection too, as you can see. This strategy pays off, because right here I am killing the map boss in the Mirage and drop a barracks ring. Huge upgrade. I reach level 84, get dexterity to level up Sniper's Mark, equip the ring, and now I am fully decked out in unique items. Here is a little victory lap across the items in case you missed any of them. And the build has its moments, you know, mostly thanks to shrines, but still. But even without those shrines, I am getting a lot stronger. It will never be good, I'm not delusional, but I'm already making it further than I expected, honestly. I get a coin of power, reach level 85, drop a volatile Val orb in the Mirage and decide I want a change of scenery, moving over to Jungle Valley. In there I find a La Houpe of all, just a good all-purpose ring. In Courthouse I find a Hive Fortress, which is promising as it can drop Valborn uniques, like this Val Axe. However, at this point I'm not that likely to change builds anymore, so it goes into the stash. The same is true for the next item. I do a bit of respec towards some crit and life, and I get leech as well, plus the instant leech mastery. I can spare a few accuracy nodes. I corrupt a Dodri's tenure with +1 socketed gems. I do another respec as I am way overcapped on resistances, get the reservation wheel and path towards the Mark cluster. In the Mirage I get a coin of skill. It's nice that I'm hitting here a unique delirium run, but the rewards, the uniques, aren't great. Damage is improving though, judging by this rune kill. I reach level 87, drop a gold rim, decide to try out Eldritch Battery, which kinda works, complete the Mark cluster and take the Frenzied Charge mastery. That means I can lose Cold Snap from the Spell Slinger, saving me some mana reservation. I fix accuracy and a bit of life. I'm only at 3k life because there's just not much life on uniques typically. And as a result I do die quite often. I can't realistically fix my gear except by getting lucky, so I opt for the classic Cast on Death Portal defensive layer. It fits nicely into the boots. At this point I'm fully equipped with uniques. I'm able to finish tier 11 maps as you can tell, and the gameplay is quite enjoyable. The start of this challenge run was rough, but now at least we're getting somewhere. It seems unlikely I will be more than a mapper, but on the other hand, this is already more than I expected personally. I incorporated some interesting tech as well, the Hydrosphere on Spellslinger. It reduces enemy resistances, it auto-targets because on every attack it moves around, which I think looks super cool. And I have this by now instead of the earlier Cold Snap, which is no longer needed as I gain frenzy charges by hitting marked enemies. That is also automated thanks to Mark on Hit. Power Siphon auto-targets as well, meaning the whole build is effectively an auto-target one-button build. It is super squishy, and I guess the Ascendancy doesn't make a whole lot of sense outside of lore reasons maybe, but it does work. That said, this isn't the end yet. Let's see how much farther I can take this one. I swap out Eldritch Battery again. I'm too squishy I feel. I want that energy shield. And Mana Leech should be enough, I think. I'm also trying out Kinetic Rain again. I just can't make up my mind about these things. Now I lack mana though, so it is back to Eldritch Battery. I know this looks silly, but I am a believer in just trying out stuff in game rather than in Path of Building. That is how I learn, basically. Being able to spam Kinetic Rain with all the Sacred Wisps too feels good. I drop a Moon Sorrow, check the in-game tooltip for damage, and it should be an upgrade. I reach level 88, I drop the Rise of the Phoenix, one of my favorite shields. I get slapped by a possessed rare, I am back to Power Siphon, find a new Broken Crown, which is slightly better, corrupt it but get nothing. Realize I can just put the Portal Gem in there, try another corrupt but fail again. I drop a Mark of Submission, which is tempting for a Curse on Hit, so I will try that out. I slot in an Elemental Weakness Curse and this works very well. It is a lot more damage, to absolutely no one's surprise, and I hit level 90. Rather than Sniper's Mark, I decide on Assassin's Mark, leveraging the crit and power charges. I drop another Coin of Power and a Fury Valve Amulet. That is potentially huge, as it is great for clear. I use some Blessing Orbs. I now lack 27 strength, so that means I'm gonna go through the uniques I found throughout this run. And I have this belt, the Belt of the Deceiver, and that solves that issue. Now I need some more accuracy, so I anoint that, after which I'm hit capped. Time for a little test run, and this is incredibly smooth. I have not done the final lap yet, and during that I tank 2 hits to the face from Exile. Somehow I survive those, until I screw up a bunch of traps. It's a classic. I drop a unique robe and sense something. I decide it is probably the best I will be getting, so I 6-socket it in between hits the jackpot with an imbued gem on the kinetic rain, power charge on crit, that is insane. So of course I swap back, but now Trinity support is broken. I think it is because I equipped the Rise of the Phoenix and now I lack flat fire damage. Despite that, it is a lot of damage on a pseudo 6 link. Still, I like Power Siphon better, and in a Mirage I drop a Doedre's Damning, +1 curse. When I equip it, I lack strength again, so I just equip a different shield. I link elemental weakness to Spellslinger instead of curse on hit from the ring, and that works as you can see. The Trinity is fixed too with this, so now I can apply both elemental weakness and an assassin's mark to enemies. I drop another Doedre's Damning, and the boots from my Reliquarian Ascendancy. I corrupt the ring, get a discipline implicit. I'm not using that aura, however. My Power Siphon is level 20, so I imbue it, and I get high impact mind support. Fuck me sideways and call me Skippy. I decided to 6-link the chest piece from earlier and just try it with that support. Who knows, but we all know, don't we? I'm making a serious attempt to spec back into mines, respec half my passive tree effectively, get minefield support, but it's just a disaster. I die more often than your average Venezuelan sailor, and high impact mine is just not the right support. So after just a little while, I scrapped the idea and spec back into my old build. With my proper siphon gem ending up broken, I just used the kinetic rain instead, now on a pseudo 7 link. I drop another broken crown, corrupt it, +2 to auras, not bad. So I socket and color it, spend some tainted currency to get quality, 20%, and put in my auras. Precision, purity of elements, it'll help. Fury Valve is pointless with kinetic rain, so I get myself Victorious Acuity for now. That is some more charge generation. However, I still end up reverting back to Power Siphon and decide to just level up a new gem instead. I complete the lab, enabling me access to Tear of Purity for a level 30 Purity of Elements. I go back to Eldritch Battery, and what do we have here? An Apothecary card. That's very interesting. I scried this to Jungle Valley like 2 months ago. And what do we do with it? Okay, nothing. Yeah, let's move on. Because I no longer need my own Purity of Elements, I slot in Anger for more flat damage. I did a bit of PoB and it turns out more flat damage on support gems also is better, so I get added cold support instead of crit damage. Similarly, I do a significant respec of the passive tree, creating a new path for a much more efficient route. I get an Elemental Mastery wheel with the Inverted Mastery, some more mana reservation, remove accuracy as I no longer need that. I don't have enough mana anymore to link Elemental Weakness to Spellslinger, so it goes back into the Curse Ring again. I get rid of Eldritch Battery, at least for now, and attempt a tier 16 map just to see where I'm at. Well, Trinity still works, there's that. Mana recovery despite the leech isn't great, but I guess acceptable to a point. But more so, the changes after a bit of PoBing have increased my damage output significantly. I am still super squishy, there is no way I will be tanky in a challenge run like this with my limited skill, but this isn't half bad. Imagine I wouldn't have these ridiculous restrictions. I think you could make a very decent SSF build out of this actually. Quite some time later, I found myself with another 2020 Power Siphon gem. Surely this time it'll be something useful, and I get Ignite Proliferation. I suppose it could be worse, although I don't really do ignites. From this point onwards, I'm mostly chilling in tier 14 to tier 16 maps. I managed to reach level 91. I've been leveling more Power Siphons, so it is imbuing time once more. The first one? Elemental Focus. Not applying elemental ailments with my main skill is painful though, so I'm not doing this. The second, Controlled Destruction, which is not amazing if you're trying to be a crit build. And the last attempt, Unbound Ailments. I'm just not getting very lucky this time, but that's okay. I find a new shield that is a lot of evasion and energy shield, so I do equip it. And then it is time for the only boss that I will be attempting this run, the Searing Exarch. I will just let the footage do the talking. Despite that little lapse of judgment on my end, I think still a respectable outcome this build. I had no clue where I would end up, but clearing tier 16s with relative ease and the cast on death portal, that is not bad at all I think. If you're subscribed to this channel, which you should, you've seen me do a lot worse without these restrictions in place, when I spin the wheel for example. I enjoyed the various different builds I got to try out, especially during the start of the run, before finally landing on a wander. It is fun just starting and not knowing where you will end up, and letting uniques drop determine the direction. At a point though, you're sort of set on a build, and from there it starts to play more like a regular run, just worse due to the fact I can only use uniques. Still, the end result isn't horrible if you set the bar accordingly. In my case, that is pretty low. Ladies and gentlemen, I hope you had a good time watching. I know this video took a while, it's been 38 days I think according to my YouTube. I just decided to play some other games instead. Crimson Desert, I can heavily recommend that by the way, I think it is just amazing. I tried No Rest for the Wicked and absolutely hated it. I did a whole Torchlight Infinite run and went all the way to Profound. I farmed up an Eternity, which is the Headhunter equivalent of that game, and I'm having just an amazing time there. I tried Last Epoch again with the new season, I just still think that game is not very good. And I'm currently playing Diablo 4 and I recorded a bunch of footage, I might turn that into a video actually. I'm having a blast in that game. So for the most part I had a bunch of fun. It's just that a good bit of these games I decided to not make videos about. I've seen the Path of Exile 2 reveal, of course. It is completely insane. How are they doing this much work in this short of a time frame? I don't think I will make a video though before we have patch notes. I don't have any particular thoughts to share, I feel. I'll just be saying things like, oh, everything looks insanely impressive, and I don't see how that adds anything to your life as a viewer. Rest assured though, I will be dropping content once we get closer to the release. I aim to update my build as well, the Minion Infernalist, including the new in-game tool that should be great, I think. Again everyone, thanks for watching, but that's really it. See you soon. Love you all. Bye bye.